Check one, check two. It's me. So I very rarely come on this late. So how's everybody doing? Give you a few minutes to fall in. Let me share my screen while we're chatting it up. So that'll be that. So we're going to talk about Super Bowl cybersecurity. Uh, I was just thinking about it. I don't do a lot of physical security much anymore, but I think with the Super Bowl, just thought it was something we could talk about. So I don't expect many people to fall in. What's up, Trash Can Ways? Salute player dropping support. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming checking me out. It's rare I come on at 9 o'clock, Trash Can Ways, but I'll talk a little bit about cybersecurity for the Super Bowl. Something a little different for me. You doing okay, man? I've been checking out your streams. See you making moves and growing. Let me see. Make sure I got that on. You know how we do it. If you got any cybersecurity questions, just drop them in the box. Go through these quick slides. Like I said, I was just thinking about cybersecurity from a Super Bowl, which is a lot of physical security, and that's all part of cybersecurity. So let's just go and get into it, and whoever falls in, and we might go back and rehash a few things, but we're gonna get it in. Let's see. I'm glad tomorrow's Friday. I am exhausted, but it's all good. It's all good. What's up, Miss Nash in the house? Glad she can join us with Trash Can Ways. So let's get at it. Like I said, we're just gonna talk about cybersecurity and some security, mostly physical security. With the Super Bowl coming up, I don't think a lot of people realize how much security and cybersecurity and physical security goes into the Super Bowl. It's about to be set off in Inglewood, California. Hopefully that's the good set it off, not like the movie. Shout out Queen Latifah with Queen Latifah in it. So let's go Super Bowl. So like I said, let's get into it. Like I said, it's real quick. Just physical security. Weird thing is, which is normal, is these are some of the beginning plans of the SoFi Arena, right? If you look at that, even though I'm not up to no good facts, up to no good. So if you look at the buildings of the SoFi new stadium being built with cranes, you can actually see support beams, right? So if you wanted to do something evil, right, you can see the support beams that are pretty much holding up this whole stadium, right? So from a cybersecurity, physical security standpoint, right, if you were up to no good, right, you could figure out where you need to, if you want to do explosives or God forbid more planes flying in, right, from a Super Bowl security perspective, right, the plans kind of show you the weak points in the building of the stadium, right? Most people know I do cybersecurity for a living, and part of cybersecurity is physical security of a building, right? So, so we kind of do this, kind of at work and in different locations, right? So then the other part of it, it's 100,000 people going to be in this stadium, right? And so it makes it look good. So now another part, if you wanted to see support beams, how the stadium's being built, the concrete. And two is my next slide. It tells you what kind of concrete and steel they were using, right? So you can kind of figure out the weaknesses of the stadium, the strengths of the stadium, and kind of how that would work from once again a cybersecurity perspective, more on a physical security perspective. Once again, throw any questions into the chat, and we can pivot and come back. How did I made you a moderator, Adrian? I I clicked on the button and said moderate. We were talking one time. I think when you were on with my lawyer, I just clicked on and just made you a moderator because you and my attorney were going back and forth. So I thought I should make you a moderator. So because I'm probably have my attorney back on again soon. So once again, you can see the steel. I can see the weak points. You can kind of figure out how the stadium is made, and like I said, where's the concrete, where's the steel, where's the kind of space in the stadium. Once again, from a physical cybersecurity standpoint. And for what's up, Todd? Glad you could make it. Oh, you're good. You're good, Angel. So for this is the chief security officer for the NFL. Right. I forgot her name. I should have put it on the slide, but I think it's on the next slide. She's the chief. So her job is, we're going to talk about that. You got to get with Homeland Security. You got to get with local police. Whenever in Florida, they were actually getting the Coast Guard in the mix, right, with security. Because when you talk about the Super Bowl, they give it the highest tier for security thing for the United States. And we're going to see it, and we're going to read it. So that's a high value target, right? So when you're a high value target, you get every department in the United States working on it, right? Number one is a ton of people, right? They have things all weekend. And two is it's a national kind of treasure. So if a foreign nation wants to embarrass us, this is a place to hit, right? So that's one reason it's a tier one target, right? High value target. So the stadium was designed by a renowned stadium architect. This assists with the structural engineering firm of P4 Structure. And it contracted to design and assist with the project consultants to develop a technically commercial viable cable net roof structure. The stadium was built with arching steel truss compression rings, a double grid cable network roof covered with translucent ETF and surrounded with perforated aluminum panels. The roof, the largest ever kind of is built, including 46 mechanized vents that allow heat generated by more than 70,000 spectators to dissipate. The massive roof consists of 1,400 tons of double authornite grid steel, approximately 67,000 tons of membranes steel gutters, right? So they give you what they used in material to build there, which is cool, right? But if you're trying to do something bad, right, you have exceptional knowledge of what you need to do to kind of penetrate that type of steel, that type of concrete, that type of structure, right? So we know that as cybersecurity now. So right now we got to put our defenses in to make sure nobody does anything bad. I'm so confused how the Super Bowl is going in with the Omicron out there running amok. I appreciate that, brother Michael, for your cash donation, your super chat. I appreciate that. Great content. I know this is about to be a good stream. I appreciate it, man. Just talking about the if you wanted to take down the Super Bowl, I better not say that too loud, right? So this is the structure of the Super Bowl. I mean, of the SoFi Arena, where it was built. It actually showed you the weak columns and where you could, actually do some issues, right? So the cool part for me is, I guess, the Super Bowl, it stands for CISA, right? It stands for Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agencies. That's one of the top agencies in the United States. I do work with them sometimes. They've been preparing for this Super Bowl for a year. So Super Bowl may be 5 months away, but CISA Region 9 staff is already gearing up for the game day. CISA protective cybersecurity advisors and emergency communication coordinators play an important role in supporting the major high-profile event on February 13, 2022. They will support a local security effort for the Super Bowl. It's designated as a special event assessment rating SEER Level 1 category event being held at the SoFi Stadium. California completed the stadium in 2020. It's the NFL's newest state-of-the-art facility, which will be home both to the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers. It seats 70,000 people, expandable up to 110,000 spendable up to 100,000. It includes a YouTube theater and adjacent indoor music and theater venue, right? So that's the highest of, like we talked about. When you talk about special events you need to secure, special event assessment rating level 1, it's called SEER, level 1 category event, right? So what is a SEER level 1 category event? Yep, just kind of talking about it from a cybersecurity standpoint. Yep, Ty. The National Sports Event Special Event Assessment Ratings. There was a job aid. They usually plan between 12 months and 18 months to assemble and deliver the United States Coast Guard and other maritime security efforts to designate support of the security operations, right? So SEER 1 events of such magnitudes and significant national and or an international importance that may require the full support of the United States government. The scale and scope of these events require significant coordination among federal, state, local authorities, warrants, pre-development of federal assets, as well as consultations, technical advice, supports to specific functional areas in which the state, local agency may lack expertise or key resources, right? Once again, Super Bowl this week, it's a SEER 1, meaning every agency in the United States will be trying to protect the Super Bowl, which makes sense, right? It's a high profile target. You don't want anybody to attack it. But I don't think we think about it from a cybersecurity perspective. Physical security is part of cybersecurity, right? What are we protecting from a physical standpoint, right? You're protecting all the people that's going to the Super Bowl, which is over 100,000 people. And you don't want anything to happen on national television, right? That's kind of the worst case scenario also to that. So on this job prospect, there's 118 planning action across 6 main planning functions. One of them is considered command, control, and communications, operations, logistics, personnel, safety, and the last one, interagency coordination and public affairs, right? So who's going to be the boss in there and control all the agency? It's going to be the Department of Homeland Security. They're the big dog. They're going to be giving orders to everybody else that's working on this, right? So that's the beauty of it. A lot of times when you're talking about cybersecurity, you're probably talking about easily 2,000 people leading up to this, right? That's going to be on the ground, in the air, drones going to be over, snipers are going to be in buildings. So you're going to probably have about 2,000 people that need to be coordinated on the ground that's in the Super Bowl, right? When you're talking about coordination from there. So here's all the agencies that they will be coordinated with, that they want to let you know. I think there's a few more agencies on here. They're just not letting you know. But at the top is DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, partner and coordinated with Super Bowls, right? And they said there's going to be more than 500 DHS, Department of Homeland Security personnel providing extensive air and maritime coordination, right? Air and sea, right? So that's part of it. So several DC agencies working with the state and local partners, the NFL on a range of initiatives, safeties, and security. They got the U.S. Coast Guards, Counter Weapons of Mass Destruction Office, U.S. Custom Borders and Protection, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency. We talked about CISA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Immigration and Customs, Office of Intelligence and Analysis, Office of Operation and Coordination, U.S. Secret Service, TSA, Transportation Security Administration, and DHS called a Blue Campaign. And then there is the CIA and the FBI. They never like to put those names in that documentation. So all those agencies, once again, with local and police, straight heavy hitters, those are big dogs. You got to coordinate all that, right? Command and control is controlled by Department of Homeland Security, right? They're the big dog. They're going to coordinate all those teams. The crazy thing people don't realize is they're practicing that, right? They just don't show up. They're on the ground practicing, right? If this happens, this is what we're going to do. If some happens, we're going to drop in helicopters to pull people out, right? If there's a hostage situation, this is how we're going to move, right? And two is they've been doing this for at least 30 years, right? And they keep getting better and better. And technology keeps getting better and better, right? and we'll talk about some of the preliminary stuff the United States handles before actually the Super Bowl happens, right? So that's one thing. So I saw this actually on the website. FFA safety planning for the Super Bowl. FFA designates Los Angeles area no drone zone for Super Bowl. Right during the Super Bowl for the next 2 days, there's no drones following. What's up? Glad you can join us. It's a no drone. If you got a drone, it's gonna get destroyed. You won't be able to get it right. Why? Because the big drones now kids are flying. You can actually have explosives on there. You can have cameras. You can run the drone into something. You can make the drone right. You can put gas in the drone and do anything, right? So there's actually a no drone fly zone over the Los Angeles. So if they catch you, or they're going to be following radio frequencies too that they know that flies drones, so they will locate you. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. True. Journey's in the house. No, you right. So I thought that was interesting. So here's the other part too. CAP returns to the Super Bowl. That's Civil Air Patrol were participating for the 22nd year in an exercise to help the United States Air Force ensure safety and security for the airspace around SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. Super Bowl, whatever number that is, set for the 13th, to help train the Air Force fighters, air crew, and maintain their proficiency. CAP, which stands for Civil Air Patrol, its aircraft into a simulated restricted airspace, playing the role of a trespassing aircraft as the Air Force jet crew practice on intercepting it. What that actually means is people with their personal aircraft flies over in conjunction with the United States Air Force. And the United States Air Force job is to make sure if they wanted to shoot them down, block them, or make sure they don't go over the stadium, they actually practice this. They've been practicing this for the last 6 months, right? The network got to be secure. That's a lot of device facts on that. Yeah, super secure. Snuggles in the house. Hey, hon. So yeah, so they let you know they've been practicing, right? So if you go over with your little twin, your little single prop airplane trying to fly over SoFo, you won't make it. You will be shot down in with due prejudice, right? So just another thing from cybersecurity. Part of that's physical security, part of that's practice. So the Air Force will be flying jets around to make sure that if an airplane's heading that way, or they tell it to turn around and don't turn around, they will be able to intercept you and deal with you as they see fit, right? So they letting you know the Air Force is practicing, right? So that's one of the agencies that are, on deck to protect it, right? So one of the things is optimizing stadium security and public safety. Once again, this hosts 71,000. They're gonna get it up to 100. So the number one priority is security professionals, keeping individuals on site and on the perimeter safe, integrating conventional surveillance cameras. So there's going to be thousands of cameras we know with facial recognition, video content analytics systems to help security teams monitor the stadium and its surroundings more effectively and efficiently. Based on artificial intelligence, these VCA systems uncover trends and reveal deep insight about the stadium and people passing through. This makes it easier for security to oversee the stadium, understand the events as they unfold, zone in on any suspicious activity, and respond faster to emergency or safety threats. When a security incident takes place, law enforcement can quickly search, analyze, and pinpoint people in the video based on a witness provided information such as gender, color, facial features, and size. This is especially useful when locating missing persons or reuniting them with parties or investigating theft at the venue. The VCA provides more than just video surveillance. It provides actionable insight for driving productive and proactive responses when that matters, right? So the artificial intelligence can tell when something looks like a fight. The artificial intelligence can bring up a certain section so that person can review that section, right? Are they play fighting or people really fighting, right? Because the artificial intelligence can look when somebody's sad, if they think you've been stabbed, if you think that you've been shot. The artificial intelligence can pick that up and drill down so the security team can look at specific photos. Because you got to remember, it's 100,000 people here. So without artificial intelligence, you're just trying to zoom in on spots to see what happened. Artificial intelligence can zoom in because it's going through a million data points. Why is this person running the wrong way? Right. So the computer's smart enough to zoom in on specific things to let people, review those a little easier. Right, in the old days, you would just have to be looking on the camera and trying to pick up stuff. Now you and the artificial intelligence are going to work together, right, to zoom in on those particular hotspots, right? Right. Once again, cybersecurity from a physical perspective. That's what we're talking about. Mobilizing staff for smart visitor services. Beyond security and ensuring safe productivity is the key. Providing optimal experience as a mass event. Keep traffic moving throughout a crowded stadium. Prevent bottlenecks. Guarding throughput and making sure the visitors are finding what they're looking for without getting frustrated. By offering perspectives on pedestrian traffic patterns through the stadium. Video analytics helps prevent organizers understanding where congestion is likely to occur and devise ways to prevent it before and during the event. All right. So as you come in and as once again surveillance drills down, they're taking care of congestion, pedestrian patterns. All of that is coming up, right? Because you don't want people get frustrated. And two, if something looks congested, you can send police force because they're going to be probably 1,000 people in there that's working, right? So they can send those people to that area, right, and drill down on that. Like we said, mobilizing staff, security personnel is key to enabling a comfortable, enjoyable experience. Properly hiring and positioning staff members throughout various parts of the arena or stadium to assist people, help with entry into the venue. Also, look out for suspicious activity. Event organizers can leverage video content analytics to optimize staff performance and provides attendance with the best service. Right. So all that's part of artificial intelligence, and all that once again is part of safety, right? Because if you stop people from getting frustrated, you stop congestions, and you stop frustrations, right? That's going to go a long way, especially when probably 20% of that crowd is going to be drinking way too much, right? So you want to have artificial intelligence out there helping you. Once again, you want to streamline the traffic flow. Once again, parking convenience. You're going to have, once again, the VCA system can help stadiums coordinate with law enforcement to ensure a smoother journey to the event, because these systems can utilize and analyze and optimize both pedestrian and vehicle traffic in a mass event. Right, because I'm in Indiana, we do a lot of huge events, and a lot of times streets will be going one way. When a big event will come around, they'll reverse the streets, right? Because they got it all figured out. This is the quickest way in. We're gonna turn around these other streets so that people can get out, right? Because you want to optimize that. You don't want any congestions, any frustration. So big major cities that do conventions have this down pat, right? So once again, comprehension of pedestrian and vehicle navigation, parking patterns enable city officials to adjust light timing, better streamlining traffic flows, public transportation around the stadium, plan ahead to keep everyone safe and moving. And the VCA systems are able to monitor the parking patterns for event staff, right? That's the artificial intelligence, right? That's the video surveillance. All that plays a part in, once again, cybersecurity, getting people in and out. And two is if you got a warrant or you got anything going on, that facial recognition is gonna find you in a needle in a haystack, right? So we were talking about the no drones. So this is just a quick no drones slide. Um, so the FAA designated Los Angeles a no drone site. Suffolk Stadium in Ingle, California. It's no drone. Will prohibit drones within 30 nautical mile radius of the stadium up to 18,000 feet in altitude. There's a temporary flight restriction from 2:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the 13th. Drones are also prohibited for 1 nautical mile and up to 3,000 feet in altitude of Suffolk Stadium. Super Bowl flight advisory. Drone operators who enter the CFR without permission could face a drone confiscation, civil penalties, and a fine in excess of $30,000 and potential criminal prosecution. So wow, so if you fly you a drone there and they find you, that could be a $30,000 bill, right? So um, once again, cybersecurity. We talking about the Super Bowl. There's a lot of technology going on from helping people get moved along, right? And so I thought this was interesting. These are ways that they're going to be snatching your drone out the air if you decided to actually um, dare to fly your drone. They got the big drone, you the little drone with the net. You got 30 grand. That right there is somebody shooting a net at a drone. They actually have hawks and eagles snatching them out the air. Then they got the anti-drone down there where people have drones and shooting net. That actually is a net. It's shooting on the fourth one. It's gonna catch the drone, right? So those are ways that they snatch your drone out the air, right? And you will not probably get it back, and you will get a $30,000 fine. Unless I got a big drone worth 30,000, I'm not going to get my drone. So shout out. But we know you don't want, once again, you don't want drones in the air. They could be made a bomb. They could have chemicals on them. So like we talked about, governments all over there now letting you have drones in that area. Once again, got any cybersecurity questions or questions in general, just throw them in the chat. We just chopping it up. I usually don't come on at 9 p.m. at night. It was just something I was working on that I thought was interesting. I don't do enough physical security, right? So this is more physical security. But when you walk into the stadium, you drive by the stadium, um, the government will have drones looking at the stadium. So if you have a search warrant and you're in that local area, if long as it's not, if it's non-violent, you might be okay. But if you got a violent search warrant, they will arrest you before you get in the stadium. I promise you, right? So let's talk about Super Bowl biometric. Past Super Bowls relied on helicopters, police dogs, and doves in a security agency to ensure public safety. These kinds of security measures are top-notch and undoubtedly serves as a powerful deterrent to bad actors. However, these tactics have serious blind spots. They're unable to keep known bad actors from entering the stadium, and that's where biometrics can change the game. So that's kind of how they do it, right? It's actually a mathematical points of your face, and so that's kind of how they figure out that's you. In addition to the federal international bad actors watch list, nearly every stadium in the world has banned certain fans due to rowdy, sometimes alcohol-fueled incidents. But watching lists and lifetime bans are incredibly difficult to uphold when venues are forced to rely on humans, ushers, ticket scanner, and concession staff to recognize and apprehend ousted individuals. It's simply impossible for security teams to spot a single face among tens of thousands of sports fans. So that's where you have recognition come in. So if you're on the list and we banned you, like we should ban Snuggles from the chat, we have to get the facial recognition on Snuggles and get her up out of here. Now, shout out to Snuggles, one of my favorite trolls. But so that's how they do it. So when you walk in any major sporting event, basketball, NCAA, there's facial recognition. So if you've been kicked out or you're a known bad guy, this will pop your face up and you will be escorted out and probably arrested with the quickness. That might facial recognition. They might have facial recognition there. Oh, they definitely gonna have not Mike. That's 100%. It's not a Mike Fox. They will have facial recognition at the Super Bowl. There will be drones with facial recognition going through. They're gonna be when you coming in, while you in the stadium. They're gonna have tons of cameras on there. But can they do with? Oh yeah, because if you look at the top, Fox, see where her nose and her eyes at and her forehead, they could get probably a 90% recognition with your mask on. So that's enough for them to come and visit you, Fox. Yeah, they can get enough because you can see that's the neural net pattern of somebody's face. So the mask is most people don't even cover up their nose. Gray Fox. So yeah, they can get you. What's up, Smarks? Glad you said. What's up, B2B? Just talking about physical security going into the Super Bowl from a cybersecurity perspective. So yeah, Fox, if you have on your mask, especially like I said, most people ain't smart enough to cover up their nose. Yeah, your eyes, because it's got the space between your eyes, space between your nose, space between your nose and your lips, so they can get a high recognition on that, Fox. So that's probably at least 90%. So they would come and visit you in the stands if it came up with a probability. Even if it was like 95, they probably would come and see you in the stands. So yeah, like I said, and if you Google it, they can get you at a higher percentage with your mask on. See, they got the map around the ears, the space between the ears. You got a lot of calculation points that you could do on that. So I thought this was real interesting. Facts, yeah. They're gonna shut them down. They're gonna shut them down for the Super Bowl. Fox, the only ones they're gonna have up in the air. Did you let me know? I have a slide with them 4 things that were catching drones out the sky, and I think it's a $30,000 fine, Gray Fox, if they catch you with your drone. So this is one because they're doing the vax thing up in Canada. So the Super Bowl's worried about this. I thought this a mandate protest at the Super Bowl. Truckers to drive to the Super Bowl as a medium for their protests against vaccination mandates. The CV-19 jab mandates protests recently conducted by Canadian truckers have escalated to drivers utilizing their trucks as blockades around Ottawa and obstructing U.S.-Canadian borders. These protests stems from a recent mandate requiring truck drivers in Canada to be fully vaccinated and avoid manner texting. On January 31st, 2022, Flashpoint analyzed identified discussions in far-right extremists, anti-vax, conspiracy theories themed forums and Telegram channels calling for truckers to forego their plans to protest in Washington, D.C. and instead boycott and protest the Super Bowl. Right. Observers outline discussions are gaining increased traction with users advocating for drivers to use their trucks to block highways leading into the Super Bowl. These are support of the action claim blocking access to the Super Bowl will get a lot of media attention and disrupt the lead child sex tracking operations associated with high-profile individuals. Right. So they're telling the truckers to come down and block the Super Bowl and don't let people get in the Super Bowl as a way to get media attention for the jab. So I thought that was interesting. That's coming up on a lot of government radars, right? They're looking for terror. Oh yeah, that's coming up. I got that coming up too. Fox talk about the terrorist attacks. So yeah, but I thought the truck drivers coming and blocking the Super Bowl was a little interesting. I would never thought of that, right? Social engineering. Flashpoint is not aware of any reported campaigns against access with high confidence to Super Bowl themed scans, such as phishing, click file. We know people are going to be selling counterfeit tickets as are likely to take place, most likely before the game kicks off. As writing Flashpoint has not observed any cause for a cyber campaign as such as those seen in the previous Super Bowls. Recent examples targeting Super Bowl analysts assess with moderate confidence that if action cyber campaigns are more likely to target fans and attendees rather than the NFL or the official event sponsors, meaning selling you fake tickets, selling you fake because they got a ton of events down there, just selling you fake stuff for Super Bowl, which most people are aware of that, right? Like Ms. Fox talked about, what are terrorism threats? The international terrorist organization and domestic violence extremists, such as anarchists, white supremacists, religious extremists that draw inspiration from Al Qaeda and ISIS, remain persistent threat to high-profile events. These threat actors have long advocated to target large-scale sporting events due to the concentration of crowds, the media coverage that such events attract. Analysis of prior terrorist attacks on high-profile events suggests threat actors are more likely to target highly populated event establishments near the events due to their easier access. At this time, Flashpoint analysts have not identified any specific imminent terrorist attack and threat for the Super Bowl. Analysts are unaware of any direct imminent threat emanating from jihad, domestic violent extremists targeting the Super Bowl. However, it's worth noting that such actors have long targeted large-scale sporting events, both rhetoric and action, due to the concentration of crowds and the media coverage that such events attract. Right. So, and we're going to talk about that. The NSA is reading everybody's email, looking on Facebook, looking in Sony PlayStation, right? A lot of people don't realize Sony's PlayStation groups has some of the best encryption, and known Al Qaeda groups and extremist groups actually do their planning on Sony PlayStation. So part of the government actually goes through those PlayStation groups and see what y'all talking about. Make sure ain't nobody doing nothing crazy. So, and we'll get into that a little bit. How does the government surveil its citizen to figure out who's going to do something bad, right? So this is always kind of the bad part of Super Bowl. We see it with anything All-Star game as well. Human trafficking, according to DHS, which is Homeland Security, human trafficking has the potential to surge with the current scale of large-scale events. As such, they have implemented programs like Blue Campaign to increase preventions of efforts, public awareness of key indicators, including differentiation between human trafficking and human smuggling. Though analysts have not identified any specific mention of human trafficking or child exploitation associated with the Super Bowl, there are perpetuated threats that should remain at the forefront of security and asset protection plans for local events and businesses, right? So we know that's happening. We know prostitution's up and stuff like that in those events, Super Bowl, any big event. Reported in Yemen a day ago, facts on the smallpox. So now we're just gonna peek a little bit of what the ACLU say. How about basically the ACLU? They filed a couple cases, and this is just a highlight of what the United States does to get information from the United States population, right? So one procedure permits the NSA to monitor Americans' international communications in the course of surveillance targeting at foreigners abroad. The NSA is not listening to American phone calls, monitoring the emails, the chairman of House Intelligence says. Many other government officials, including the president himself, have made similar assurance, but these statements are not true. While the FISA Amendment Act authorized governments to target foreigners abroad, not American, it permits the collection of American communications with foreign targets. Indeed, advocating the act, government officials made it clear that they want into domestic communication were one of the most interest to them, right? So if you're talking to anybody abroad, NSA is listening to your conversation, right? So shout out to the ACLU. Let's see. They're going to be on the stroll. Englewood. Facts on the stroll. Not the stroll, Adrian. We're not strolling. We got websites and we still strolling, Adrian. I'm just throwing out. We technology savvy now. I think we can order hookers straight off the internet. But I think the Sparks are down between the bad actors and the government. We can't play no video games in peace. Nah, Sparks. But that's cool, man. As long as you ain't talk to no bad actors about bombing nobody, you be all right. ACLU the ACL do be snitching on people. Shout out to the ACLU. Nah, Sparks, but they do. If people don't know, they have some of the best encryption on the planet. So they were trying to be figuring out how to break some of the encryption on those video games. And there have been no terrorist groups that use the PlayStation. It took me a while. The PlayStation was known for nation states to do their planning because it has government level encryption in the PlayStation, and the United States was struggling to break PlayStation encryption. So all the foreign nationals and bad guys know that. So they do their planning on while Sparks planning, they over there planning attacks on the United States on the PlayStation, right? So NSA number 2, procedures allow surveillance of Americans by failing to ensure that the NSA surveillance targets are in fact foreigners outside the United States. The act is predicted on the theory that foreigners abroad have no rights to privacy, at any rate, no rights that the United States should respect. Because they have no rights to privacy, the United States see no bar to the collection of their communications, including their communications with Americans. But even if one aspect of the government premises, the procedures fails to ensure that the NSA surveillance targets are in fact foreigners outside the United States, right? So the NSA said, "Oh, you're a foreign national, even if you're in the United States, right? they're listening to your conversations. Right? But two is, most of y'all know I'm actually a professor in real life. I always ask my class this. So this is the question to the chat is, terrorists don't automatically get caught. It's not magic, right? So if you don't allow the United States to listen to read your email, listen to your conversations, we can't catch terrorists, right? So if you block them from doing this, it's not magic. They won't be able to catch the bad guy, right? So I always my class, are you cool with the United States surveilling you so we can get bad guys? Or you want to block the United States? And when I say, well, when something happened and we can't get the bad guys, you can't hold the government responsible, right? So you got to pick which one you want, right? So number three, procedures permit the government to conduct surveillances that has no real connection to the government foreign intelligence interests. One of the fundamental problems with the act is that it permits the government to conduct surveillance without probable cause or individualized suspicion. It permits the government to monitor people who aren't even thought to be doing anything wrong, and to do so without particular warrants or meaningful review by an impartial judge. Government official has placed a heavy emphasis on the fact that the act allows the government to conduct surveillance only for one purpose, to gather foreign intelligence information. That term is defined very broadly and includes not only information about terrorists, but information about intelligence activity, right? So the broad is too big, meaning they can surveil anybody in the United States, right? So are you going to be caught in that net? All right. So that's the question. So they can do it anyway. That's fact, brother Mike. They can do it anyway. But the fact is, as a nation, should we push back, right? We can call out Congress and put pressure on people, right, to figure out what's going on. So I think that is the question. They can do it anyway, but we can push back and say, hey, that's not right, right? We got, we're picking Supreme Court judges that's supposed to be, helping us with our rights, right? And our surveillance laws. Number four, for the ACL, procedure permits the NSA to collect international communication, including American international communications in bulk. On the face of it, the act permits the NSA to conduct dragnet surveillances, not just surveillance for specific individuals. Official who advocates for the act make clear that it's one of the principal purposes, and so unsurprisingly, the procedure gives effect to that design. While they require the government to identify the target outside the country, once the target has been identified, procedures permit the NSA to sweep up communication of any foreigner who may be communicating about the target, right? So if you just have to be somebody friend just in there, right, you swept up in the target, right? So that's really too broad. The procedures allow NSA to retain every purely domestic communication. Given the permissive standards of the NSA used to determine whether prospective surveillance targets are foreigners or broads, errors are inevitable. Some of the communication the NSA collects under the Act then were surprisingly domestic. The Act should require that the NSA purge the communication from its database, but it does not. The procedure allows government to keep and analyze even purely domestic communications if they contain significant foreign intelligence information. Right. So once again, like like Brother Mike says, they can do whatever they want. So they're keeping these communications for a very long time, right? So that means if you were caught into a dragnet because you were calling somebody overseas, they could keep that in their database, right? And you could be coming up on somebody reporting, and people could be doing surveillance on you, even though you were just making to a call to somebody overseas or you were on vacation or something, right? So the procedure allows the government to collect and retain communications protected by attorney-client privilege. Oh, wow, that's great. The procedure especially contemplates that NSA will collect attorney-client communications. In general, these communications receive no special protections. They can be acquired, retained, and disseminated like any other. That's if the NSA requires communication of lawyers representing individuals who have been charged before a military commission at Guantanamo Bay. Nothing in the procedures was seeming to prevent the NSA from sharing those communications with military prosecutors. Right. So once again, like Mike said, the government can do what they want. So um, number 7, procedures contemplate the NSA will maintain a knowledge database containing sensitive information about Americans. To determine where a target is foreign or abroad, the procedure contemplates that the NSA will consult various NSA databases containing information collected by it and other agencies through signal intelligence, human intelligence, law enforcement, and other means. The database referred to as NSA contact repositories and knowledge bases apparently house internet data, including metadata, and reveals all online activities, telephone numbers, email addresses used by U.S. personnel, right? So once again, we knew the government was tracking us. We knew the government was following us, right? So that's the ACLU, going in with Pfizer and FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request, and coming up with information. So the procedure allows the NSA to retain encrypted communications indefinitely. Procedures permit the NSA to retain forever all communications, even purely domestic ones that are encrypted. The use of encrypted to protect data is routine and sometimes legally required practices by financial organizations, health organizations, and real-time communications. According to procedures, permits the NSA to retain huge volumes of America's most sensitive data. The reason why you would keep encrypted data, right? Encrypted data means you can't read it. When quantum computers actually come in effect in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to be able to break every encryption algorithm known to man. So if you keep something for 20 years, you will be able to read it in the next 5 years. So China and all the big dictatorships are keeping encrypted data because everybody knows quantum computer in the next 5 years is going to be able to encrypt every encryption known to man. So then, you'll be able to read that data. So that's all I had. I just want to do something quick on the Super Bowl. That was kind of hit me. So I was just like, let me do something for cybersecurity on the Super Bowl. Like I said, let me drop the link. I'm sure, everybody's just chilling. Like I said, Super Bowl was coming up, so I wanted to do a little cybersecurity on it. I was, like I said, drop any questions. I just wanted to talk about just the physical security. We never really talk about that enough in cybersecurity. When you drive out and you see the boaters and planners and sometimes security guards. Wow, facts. Yeah, the NSA's the NSA said F lawyer client privilege. We taking our data. So yeah, I just want to talk about that. Like I said, I don't talk enough about physical security in that game and in that way. And I think that's definitely a big part of cybersecurity is the physical, but how you protecting the building, fire protection, boulders in front of the building to make sure nobody can drive up in the building, where you put your data center. Lights are a big deal. See, video cameras on the outside, CFT, all that's part of physical security, and all that's going to be in full effect in the Super Bowl, right? So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. And like I said, I just thanks, brother Michael, for the super check again for the 5. I appreciate that. Yeah, because once again, we never really talk about physical security. We never really talk about. I don't even know if there's certs for physical security. I know I know in the CISP they get real heavily into the physical part, but I don't think there's a separate cert just for the physical security part of it. So 10,000 down. I'm losing the Super Bowl. I mean, I got this online. Facts. She stole my thunder. The Super Bowl tickets were, I think, averaging 10 grand. So that's not even talking about the suites. That's the average. So you probably got a few in there, $3,000 or $4,000 at the nosebleed section. And you get on the ground. That's probably 10 or 11. Super 63 paracar punching the air fist and bump written on his knuckles. Facts. Super so My homester said I'm gonna be super sleuthing. Maybe I need to go holler at the NSA. The NSA be putting in work. The government, the United States government, intact because you know. I appreciate that she stole my thunder. Yeah, the government because they're trying to catch bad guys, right? Sometimes I think they do overreach, but um, that's just a tough thing to do because, like I tell people, it's not magic when you catch the bad guys. You got to be, investigating, reading stuff. But Snow told you that, right? He told you there was a database with everybody in the United States on it, right? And the United States actually hacked Google, Facebook, all the big ones. The government hacked them and was stealing their stuff. So I appreciate it. So it's just so that's just part of the game of protect the United States. Like I said, it's not magic. Some of it, like you said, we got to talk about our freedoms in there. So that stuff gonna show up. Stay. We'll see. We need to happen on the down low. Facts, facts, facts. So yeah. So like I said, I wanted to just talk a little bit about physical security. We always talk about the cool hacker and all that, but a lot of that's physical. Like I said, there's gonna be. Let me go to that slide. There's about where's that one slide at? All the organizations that are gonna be intercommunicating, all ran by Department of Homeland Security, right? Coast Guard. I never heard of countering weapons of mass destruction office, Border Patrol, CISA cybersecurity infrastructure, uh, FEMA, right? Immigration, ICE, Office of Intelligence and Analysis, Office of Operational Coordination, U.S. Secret Service, TSA, Transportation Security Administration. There's an airport that's super close to the stadium, so they're trying to make sure they have that under control. But once again, they're going to at least be 500 Department of Homeland Security people on the ground, right, putting in work just to make sure nothing goes left, right. I appreciate it. Make sure everybody hits the like button. I appreciate that. I'm glad to see She Stole My Thunder. Yeah, yeah. Everybody go check out She Stole My Thunder. I love reading the book, Game of Thrones. She's meditating. She's doing a lot of things over there, so definitely go check her out. Gray Fox, thanks. Go check out my man Before the Billion, Sparks in the house. Adrian. So yeah, everybody's in the ties in the house. Thanks for the Canadian. So that's all I got. I just wanted to throw that out. Thanks for joining me. Like I said, every now and then I come on at 9, not very often. So old man about to go to bed. I'm tired. So everybody have a good night. I'm gonna call it happy Friday when we wake up in the morning. TGIF, it's 10 o'clock where I'm at. So I'm calling it Friday when I get up tomorrow. So thanks for the shout out. Oh, always, always, always. I appreciate your support. Yeah, I'm here to help. I'm small. I'm here to help all the small people. So I'm trying to grow up too one day. Make a ton of money now. I just try to get a little dinner money. Once again, I want to thank everybody for joining me. If you need me, shoot me a email, professorblackops@gmail.com. Give me a couple days to answer it. I'm in the middle of a big audit at work and it's tearing me up. So, but it's all good. Once again, I appreciate that, Sparks. I appreciate that, man. Everybody have a good night. TGIF, let's get it. The weekend's almost here. I'm out.